So I picked up a 2025 Sequoia TRD Pro, and of course it has that roof rack on it that makes a lot of noise when you guys are driving down the road. So the wife has tasked me to take this thing off, and of course I saw nothing on YouTube how to do it. So I'm gonna tackle this thing today and hopefully teach anybody who needs to do this tips and tricks. So first things first, you're going to have to remove 8 of these bolts. All 4 corners have them across the top of the roof rack. They are a T30. So you can use a impact driver like I'm going to use, or a T-handle of sorts, or an Allen handle. But again, it's going to be a T30 bolt. Now these are Loctited in, so it's got a little bit of work to get those out, but the impact driver will make short work of that. Now once you get that unbolted, gotta come up with some creative way to slide it off. I've kind of used an old mat that I had and some old Pergo floorboard, some underlayment, kind of keep it from getting scratched. But at this point, it might be handy to have a second person. But you could probably just do this yourself. If you wanted to. Now you can see that it is off. No scratches. I was able to do it by myself. It's definitely a heavier steel rack, but I'm a big boy. Now we're going to have to remove these brackets. Now using the same T30 bit, you're going to loosen these bolts up, and actually this will lift off and expose the next section you're going to have to take off, which appears to be another Torx bit. And then we'll be able to put our guards back on that came from the factory. A little helper here today. But what I found is that when I pulled this thing off, there was a large bolt in here that was Loctited in very, very hard. Now this next bit is a little bit bigger bolt. I believe it's probably an M8, but it takes a T40. And because of the Loctite on here, I did one already. It is super tight, and you will not be able to use a typical driver like that. At least I wouldn't, and just use this to unloosen it. And it's got some torque to it you're gonna need. So definitely something like a ratchet, pull it out, and this unit here will actually come right up. So here it is. The bolt is loosened up. It's actually a fairly long bolt. You can see, and there's red Loctite all over that, which makes it very difficult to remove. But once you lift it up, you will see inside. Just need to fill this one hole with the actual bolt that we took out, except I'm going to use a blue Loctite thread locker, which is removable. This is a phenolic compound, which means once the air is taken away, it seals up and hardens up like that. So since the factory used red Loctite, I'm going to use a blue Loctite because it'll make it removable easier next time when I want to put the roof rack on, if I ever do. But it should be okay by keeping it sealed up. Now I have installed the bolt. I've taken a wire brush to it, cleaned the threads. You can kind of see it, but I put some blue Loctite, the same length of the thread that was before. And I'm just going to use my driver to kind of put it in. It goes in a lot easier, and there's a spot that it stops. Now at this point here, I'm just going to finish that off with my ratchet, just to give it so I'm not forcing that bolt in there all the way, giving it a fair chance to seat in. Just let my hands kind of tweak it in so it feels a little snug. And it feels pretty snug right there. And then you'll notice there's some blue leftover Loctite. That probably will never harden up, at least not in a long time, because again, the air's not been removed from it because it's a phenolic compound. So I'm going to take a tissue and clean up the rest of it around the edges. So now I have all the blue Loctite cleaned up. That T40 or M8 bolt, I believe is what it is nice and tight and snug. Also now ready to put on the extra top here, which came with the vehicle with a roof rack, and you can see it's got an orientation on it. Get the lighting just right, and it'll say rear right hand. So all we do is just line this up where it looks nice and just kind of snap it in. Already done it to this one up in here. Again, it'll be oriented. That'll say front, this will say rear. Pack it with the extra two to the other side. You can see. And that should pretty much be repeated all the way around the car, and you'll be done.